The myth that most of us believe is that we always follow the principle of self-discipline. It's something inside us, like a genetic gift, and we either have that self-discipline or we don't. However, the truth is that self-discipline is not something genetic, but rather something acquired that we can use. In a more clear way, self-discipline is like a language. Any child can learn a language. All children actually learn a language. Likewise, any elderly person, who is also 90 years old, can learn a language. If you are 9 or 90 years old, and you have lost your way, for example, in the reign of Juarez, it will benefit you to speak Spanish to find your way to warmth and safety. Yes, it will benefit you. In this case, the Spanish language is self-discipline. You use it to achieve something or a goal. You're not born with it, but you can use it. Whether it is as much or as little as you wish. The more you use, the more likely it is to happen. If you are an American, and you move to Juarez to live there for a year and want to get a job in that place, the more Spanish you use, the better it will be for you. Even if you have never used Spanish in your life before, you can still use it. You can use this little Spanish phrase dictionary to start using Spanish, and you can use this dictionary to get directions or ask for help, so you don't need to be born with special knowledge of one thing in particular. The same applies to self-discipline, in the same way. But the majority of people do not believe this. Most of them believe that they either have self-discipline or lack it, and most people believe that it is a personal trait or a permanent aspect of their personalities. This is a grave mistake that can destroy life. But what is interesting is that it is never too late to correct the mistake in yourself and in those around you. And it is never too late to know the actual truth, so listen now to the way people commit this mistake. The president of a company recently said to me, "Michael might be the best salesperson in my company if he had any degree of self-discipline, but he doesn't have any at all." This statement is not true. Michael has as much self-discipline as anyone else, he just hasn't decided to use it yet, and it's just like our Spanish words can be used like everyone else's. Really, the more times I go back to my little dictionary and use colloquial Spanish in it, the easier it becomes to use Spanish. Likewise, if I use this dictionary a sufficient number of times, and practice a sufficient number of words and phrases, the use of the Spanish language will become easier to the point that Spanish will seem to be part of my nature, as if it is something inside me. This is how the game of golf seems natural to Tiger Woods. The same applies to self-discipline. If the person you are leading truly understands that self-discipline is something that is used, not something innate, then that person can use discipline to accomplish any goal he or she always wants. Then a person can use self-discipline whenever he wants, or ignore it and leave it aside whenever he wants. Instead, people worry about self-discipline, and they worry about whether they have it. Is it within them? Did their parents and mentors ingrain it within them? Some people believe that discipline comes from experience, and some believe that it depends on genetics, when in fact it is not like that at all. It never came that way. It is just a tool that anyone can use, like a hammer or a dictionary. Enlightened leaders get a lot from their subordinates, because they are fully aware that each of their subordinates already has everything that can make them successful, or the negative fatalism that they skillfully create for those subordinates who do not perform their work to the fullest. They're just not making it up. As David Campbell, founder of Saks Fifth Avenue, said, "Discipline reminds you of what you want." Here we have reached the end of the second lesson. Wait for us to find out what the third lesson hides.